All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thanks again, everyone who is joining us today. I'm Caitlin Barnard. I lead our developer and community marketing here at Kong. So I'd like to welcome you all to today's online meetup. We're going to be talking about the recent Kong Gateway 2.4 release. So for those of you who are new here, we take the first part of the meeting for a short presentation and demo of the latest features in the release. Then we're going to open it up to Q&A discussion at the end. So you're able to unmute, turn on your video, but you can also feel free to drop questions in the chat tab at the bottom of your screen. We'll be looking at that throughout the online meetup, so we'll make sure to get to those as well. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Paul, to kick us off.
Thanks so much, and can you hear me okay? Okay.
Yep.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Today, we'll be taking a closer look at the 2.4 version of our open source gateway. In this session, we'll help you to visualize and experience via a couple demos the new features we have as a part of this release. It'll be rather high level in nature, so if you'd like more technical definitions on what's presented today, I definitely want to encourage you to go and read on our documentation links provided at the end of the presentation, and certainly don't hesitate to reach out to us on Cognation Forum if we can help address any issues that you might have. So my name is Paul Fisher, and I'm the product manager for the Gateway. And joining me today is Guilherme Salazar, an engineer on our core team, as he'll be supporting us with the technical demos. Okay, with that said, let's jump right in. So for many years, JavaScript has remained as the most popular programming language. When you look at the results from the latest Stack Overflow survey, around 70% of developers surveyed use JavaScript in their profession, and that's really making it the most commonly used programming language. As you probably already know, the language's syntax and its rather large ecosystem of libraries, I think, makes it a really great choice for building front-end applications, dynamic websites, server-side programs, and even video games. Now that you're all here to build video games in Kong, we're really here to talk about plugins. In 2.4 of the Gateway, we introduced our first release of the JavaScript PDK, or Plugin Development Kit. And this enables developers with a powerful new superpower, this ability to build plugins using JavaScript. The Gateway support for JavaScript is provided by our Kong.js PDK, which can be found here in the GitHub link that I have on the slide. It includes a plugin server and provides a JavaScript runtime for your plugins and gives you access to the Kong Gateway features of the PDK. We also have posted there a helpful example to get you started. So in this technical demo, we just want to take a minute to walk you through getting started with an example JavaScript plugin. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to you, Guilherme.
All right, hello everyone. I'm going to share my screen and show you a JavaScript plugin in practice. So here I have a few files, a Docker file that sets up the needed environment. It installs the Kong PDK module. I have the image built already. So I also have a demo script which uses that Docker image to run Kong with the plugin. That plugin is really simple. It just sets up a header in the response, saying hello from JavaScript. So with that, let's run Kong and see it running. So as you can see, I'm using a declarative configuration file, which essentially just has a route, a service and a route, and enables the JavaScript plugin, and exposing port 8000, the proxy port. So let's give that a try. So once that is running, let's issue a request to the proxy port. As you can see, we have a new header, hello from JavaScript, which, as you saw, comes from this line here. Let's go ahead and make a small change to the code and see that's reflected in the output. So let me restart Kong and try the proxy port request again. As you can see, it's now in lowercase. In terms of configuration, the Kong configuration looks like this. We are passing a few different parameters, essentially telling Kong where to place the plugin server socket through which Kong communicates with the plugin server, and the commands to start the plugin server and to query information about the plugins. That's essentially it for the JavaScript demo. Back to you, Paul.
Thanks, Gary. Go ahead and share my screen again. Yeah, so definitely look forward to more examples, which we'll be posting to the repository as well and in the documentation. So next, I'd like to head over to hybrid mode deployment. So since the Gateway version 2.0, the hybrid mode, which we call control plane, data plane separation, is really becoming our North Star deployment architecture for the open source gateway. And in this mode, Kong nodes in a cluster are separated into, or have two roles. One is called the control plane, where the configuration is managed and the admin API is served from. And the other one is the data plane, which serves traffic for the proxy. In this mode, the data plane does not connect to a database. Instead, the configuration is managed and pushed by the control plane as necessary. And this feature has all the benefits you see here on this slide and really significantly improves the security and performance of large Kong clusters while reducing your operational costs and overhead for administrators. Now, in our starting with Kong Gateway 2.3, the control plane nodes can also perform version compatibility checks, to determine if the data plane can safely be synced. If the compatibility checks fail, the control plane stops pushing out new configs to the incompatible data plane in order to avoid sort of breaking them. With our release of the Gateway 2.4, we've further relaxed some of these compatibility checking to make it easier for administrators to test and upgrade the cluster, on a schedule that they see more fit. You can imagine if a user goes in and configures a plugin on the CP, but the plugin is, missing or not there on the DP due to an earlier version. The operator should be informed of this kind of incompatibility state, and we're putting a lot of effort here into that. We have our compatibility checks written up in the documentation, so I'd like to encourage you to check there for more details on how we think about compatibility checking. And in the coming releases, I think you can expect we'll address areas to make the user experience even better in this particular mode, such as cutting down the amount of configuration needed for setting up the DP, better metrics for exposing the incompatibility states for the system administrator so they can action on those really easily, and just enhance error messaging to make sure that you address issues really quickly. As this mode continues to evolve, we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedbacks in making sure hybrid mode works for you and your organization. So. And lastly, for the next demo we have here, we have building dynamic logs. This is a new configuration we'd like to show you, used for dynamically formatting logs in the gateway itself. So with our version 2.4, we introduced a powerful new capability which helps developers transform gateway logs into any format that's needed. So whether you're capturing, indexing, or correlating logs for use in your organization's downstream systems, take Elasticsearch for example, you as a developer can now format logs easily using Lua code, which we'll show. This means you can create new fields, remove fields, generate dynamic field values, or rearrange logs entirely to a specific format that works for you. Really, our goal here is to reduce the reliance on any kind of data transformation tools, so you can get your logs out of the gateway into a specific format with without all the same moving parts. In this example I have here, we are using this new configuration called Custom Fields by Lua, and we're targeting the route node, and we're making it return blank. This is just one example that we have here, and it's supported by the following plugins that I have listed. So let's go ahead and pause there and show you a couple more examples and briefly discuss some of the limitations of this new config. So with that, I'll change it back over to you, Guillermo, for the demo.
Okay, everyone, for this demo, we have a similar structure as the previous one. We have a Docker file that basically, essentially, in this case, it just creates a new directory where the logs that we create are going to be in. The image is already built, and we have 3 configurations. One of them is for enabling the file log plugin in the traditional way without doing any modifications, and that's the first one that we are going to run. Let's go ahead and run it. So as you can see, I'm loading the configuration I just showed. This one on the right side. Create a service, a route, and enable the file log plugin. Let's go ahead and create a new pane here. And once we issue a request, it's going to be logged in the var log Kong proxy .log file, and we can see the results of that. Let me see if I. Okay. Oh, I didn't run the. Okay, it's running now. Let's just issue requests and run that again. As you can see, there is a service field, requests, latencies, and the route field, among others. And what this feature allows you to do is to either remove some of those fields or modify the contents or add new fields. So in the second example that we are going to be running, we are going to be removing a field. As you can see here on the left side, we are enabling the plugin with the custom fields by Lua configuration and removing the route and service fields in the log. So let's go ahead and run that. And issue a request. And now let's try to find that field, those 2 fields. So as you can see, there are no so from starts here. So there is no service or route field in there. Let's try to find it with this query, JQ query. It's not found. And same for a route. In the third example, we are going to be adding a new field called conversion, which uses the Kong.meta module to get the current conversion, as you can see here in the selected portion on the left side. So let's load that. And issue request. Now let's, on the right side again, take a look at the response, at the log, and look for that field. The file of the command on the left side is updated now. Let's issue a request. and try again. It's not selecting the correct one. Using the, okay, let me grab the file name. Right, it's running. Issue the same request and look for the, okay. Okay, so as you saw here, it says that the Kong meta module is not allowed in the sandbox. And the reason for this is because this feature runs in a sandbox, in a sandbox environment in Kong. So you have to ensure that you pass a specific configuration to allow the require of specific modules. And that's what this environment variable here does. It allows the Kong meta module to be required. So if you run that with that new configuration, you will see the output. So you can see on the right side that the Kong version was logged. So that's it for this demo. Back to you, Paul.
Okay, let me share my screen. That was a quick little demo on custom fields using Lua. We also have a Git repo, which has the examples that were used today, if you'd like to check that out. So it's rather quick. We have a lot of information that we provided today. So, you know, there's just so much more to 2.4 that's worth exploring, from our support with Postgres 13 and a TLS version of 1.2, or a lot of the updates that we've done to make plugins like Zipkin more robust. Just be sure to check out our documentation, the change log, the release blog for more information. And with that, I'd like to kind of thank you for spending your time with us today. And I think we're going to move next to Q&A based on the topics that we have today.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for the great presentation and demo. So we'll hang out here for a little bit longer. If anyone wants to ask any questions, you are welcome to unmute yourself if you want to ask. Otherwise, please feel free to drop them in the chat below. I will also take a few minutes now to drop all of these different links in the chat as well. All right, looks like Jeremy had a question here. Any performance comparisons to the native Lua plugins versus doing it in JavaScript?
The Wanlong, would you be available to answer that one? Or Javier, if you want to unmute.
Yeah, I put on the chat, but the short answer is that these are external plugins, just like the Go ones. There's a significant overhead because of communication between the plugin and Kong itself, but they perform pretty well. It's just not as fast as Lua. Always Lua is running in process, while all the other languages are out of process. It's amazing.
That's what I was thinking. Appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
And then a question from Sean in here about if we have any other PDK languages in the pipeline. Javier just mentioned this, but I did just want to add for any new folks on, we do also have a Go PDK in addition to JavaScript. But yeah, I don't know. Any other ones in the pipeline right now?
Yeah, we have an early look at our Python PDK. Is the next one kind of on the list.
Sorry, I'm slowly adding these links in here. So give me 1 minute and I'll have those. And one more question from Tyler. Will Kong continue to use Lua to develop their custom plugins?
I can answer that one. Sorry, my computer just crashed. So yeah, like officially we will continue like our mostly development works were based on Lua. And regarding just last question, the performance part is definitely going to slower than Lua because it's external plugin, but like we will try to get that optimized like on the later version, but like it's going to be hard to remain the same performance as Lua, since Lua is like our native scripting language.
Thanks, Wanlan. All right, anything else we can answer? All right, looks like that is all we have. I dropped all of the links in the chat. The recording for this will also be available on YouTube by the end of the day today, so you can catch all of this later on as well. Our next call is going to be on May 11th, so hopefully we'll have some exciting updates for you by then as well. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us today, and I hope you have a great day.